जय 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 गणनायका, जय जय विघ्न विनाशका। 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 जय शुभ मंगलदायका, विद्या बुद्धि प्रदायका। 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 गजवदना गौरी नंदना, गजवदना गौरी नंदना, गजवदना गौरी नंदना, गजवदना गौरी नंदना, गंगाधर शिव शंभो नंदना, गंगाधर शिव शंभो नंदना, गंगाधर शिव शंभो नंदना, गंगाधर शिव शंभो नंदना। जय 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 गणनायका, जय जय विघ्न विनाशका। जय जय गणनायका, जय जय विघ्न विनाशका। जय शुभ मंगलदायका, विद्या बुद्धि प्रदायका। शुभ मंगलदायका, विद्या बुद्धि प्रदायका। गजवदना गौरी नंदना, गौरी नंदना, गजवदना गौरी नंदना, गजवदना गौरी नंदना। गंगाधर शिव शंभो नंदना, गंगाधर शिव शंभो नंदना, गंगाधर शिव शंभो नंदना, गंगाधर शिव शंभो नंदना। जय 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 गणनायका, जय जय विघ्न विनाशका। श्री राम जय जय राम, जानकी जीवन राम। 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 पतित पावना राम हरे जय, राघव सुंदर राम। पतित पावना राम हरे जय, राघव सुंदर राम। पतित पावना राम हरे जय, राघव सुंदर राम। पतित पावना Jaya Jaya Ram, Jaya Raghuram, Janaki Jeevan Ram. Jaya Jaya Ram, Jaya Raghuram, Janaki Jeevan Ram. Jaya Jaya Ram, Jaya Raghuram, Janaki Jeevan Ram. Shri Ram Jaya Ram, Jaya Jaya Ram, Janaki Jeevan Ram. Shri Ram Jaya Ram, Jaya Jaya Ram, Janaki Jeevan Ram. पतित पावना राम हरे जय राघव सुंदर राम. पतित पावना राम हरे जय राघव सुंदर राम. दीनोद्धरणा राम हरे जय मारुति सेवित राम. दीनोद्धरणा राम हरे जय मारुति सेवित राम. जय जय राम, जय रघुराम, जानकी जीवन 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 राम. श्री राम जय जय राम, जानकी जीवन राम.
Offering our collective salutations at the divine lotus feet of Sadhguru Sri Madhusudan Sai, respected elders, guests, brothers, sisters, and everyone joining us live from around the world, Sai Ram, and a very good morning. On this sacred day of Avatar Declaration, we gather in deep gratitude and joy to honor the divine descent of Bhagavan Sri Sathya Sai Baba. It was on this day in 1940 that the young Satya declared, "I am no longer your Satya, I am Sai," a moment that marked the beginning of a divine mission to uplift humanity. And today, we celebrate not just a historical declaration, but the living presence of His love in our lives. We also take this opportunity to wish everyone a very happy Deepavali. May the brilliance of Bhagwan's teachings and the lamps of Diwali together light our path with love and purpose. This morning, Sadhguru will graciously answer a few questions and dispel our doubts. Swami, the first question: what is the ideal prayer one must make? Our own growth, knowledge, and detachment, the welfare of all, or is it better to simply express gratitude to God for everything we receive?
There is no one ideal prayer. It depends on what stage of evolution you are. That is ideal for you at that point in time, what your heart feels. You must make prayers from the heart. That is the most important aspect of prayers. Simply mugging up a shloka just because somebody else knows it, or chanting and rattling out stotrams in the name of prayers is of no use. What comes from your heart? When I was a student, my prayer was, "Please make me worthy of your love, grace, and care." That was one line prayer that I would always say at the end of the day. So I had a list of shlokas also which I had learned since the childhood on Ganapati, Saraswati, Durga, Shiva. After finishing all that, which was a part of the ritual, and Hanuman Chalisa, finally the last prayer that I would make before sleeping is, "Please make me worthy of your love, grace, and care," because I had received so much of love, grace, and care, I felt I was unworthy of it. So I used to always feel that I must measure up to that special divine grace. So I would say, "Please make me worthy." And I think I tried to live up to that. prayer. Prayer is not about God giving you something. Prayer is about you living up to your promise to God. So being worthy of all that you receive from the divine, whether you deserve, you don't deserve, trying to live up to that worthiness or deservedness, I think it's a good prayer to begin with, because then you won't take things for granted. So many wonderful things happen because of divine grace. We don't realize it often and we end up taking it for granted. That won't happen then. Then you would always be reminded and be conscious of the fact that you are always receiving more than what you deserve. So your heart will be filled with gratitude and also a sense of commitment and responsibility to be worthy and measure up to all that which has been given to you, even though you don't deserve any of it. So I think that is something that I always been conscious about and have been praying that way. Of late, I don't pray any particular sentence or any particular shloka. It is not necessary. I just like to have a conversation with the divine, that's all. And if at all I must pray, it depends on the situation. Like there is work to be done, there is something needs to be completed, then I tell we need your grace to complete this and finish this. That's about it. There is no demand or some kind of asking. Prayer is not about asking. Is it? Prayer is ultimately a conversation which you must have with the divine every day. And that conversation can be called as a prayer. So in a conversation, many things can happen depending on that day, that situation, that circumstances that you are in. But having a conversation with God is what I would think is a ritual, is a prayer that we must engage in. And what kind of conversations you have, it depends on your state of evolution. For a small child, the conversation could be, I want a chocolate, I want to get marks, I want to grow well, I want to make you happy, or anything. For a grown-up, the prayer might be that I must earn well and then contribute or work hard and come up in life, look after my people. For somebody who is very elderly, they may pray, I must have a healthy body so that I can continue to serve and look after myself and others around me and be able to contribute something. So these are different kinds of conversations you can have. But I always felt that we as humans are very ungrateful at times. Very clear, very quickly we forget how much has been given to us unasked, much more than our deservedness. And that is why I think a prayer of gratitude is a very good prayer, and a prayer to measure up to that excess grace that we always receive and work towards it, to be worthy of all the love, grace and care, is a good prayer to begin with.
From your earlier role as a communicator to being Sadguru now, what is the main difference you experience as someone who's channeling and experiencing divinity?
I was more carefree when I was not a Sadguru. Now I'm more careful. That's one big shift that has happened. Because earlier I didn't care. Bhagavan is saying something, if it happens, fine. If it doesn't happen, also is fine. It is his wish. And it is between him and his devotees. It's like, why should a mic worry about what was spoken? Or why should a radio worry about what was sung through it? It was between the singer and the audience. It was between the speaker and the audience. But that shift has happened, because then Bhagavan put the responsibility on me. That now you have to take responsibility of what is being done. So the shift, one internally has happened, is that sense of responsibility for everybody. Earlier I was not feeling responsible for these many devotees, students, the mission and running it. Because I thought that is Bhagavan's responsibility, he's running it, and I am just coming here like a clerk or an attendant or a peon and doing my part and going home. Why should I bother about anything more than that? But when he transferred that to me and told that you are responsible for their spiritual growth and also their material comforts, that was a large ask, tall order for me. Why we're responsible for these many thousands of people and many more in the future who will come, and take care of their both material needs so that they are able to show some interest in their spirituality. Both I have to look after. That sounded like a big ask. But I always worried whether I would be able to measure up to that kind of trust that he's placing in me. And I was a little uncomfortable in the beginning, saying, how can I do this? Though on the outside I would smile and walk around and give darshans and go back, but inside I would be trembling because all this is going to be on my head. That's how the first thoughts were, shifting from communication to actually taking the ownership of the mission. And of course, we went through a lot of motions at that point of time because it was a transfer of not just the power or authority, but it was a transfer of huge responsibility, which required tremendous amount of courage and steadiness. And soon after that, COVID came. It was like the very first test is the toughest test. At least if you started with a simple question, then you can build up your strength. But you start with the toughest paper, toughest question with COVID. That was something that really kind of set the standards. And I think it is Bhagwan's way of doing things because he always gives the toughest work first. And when we overcome our challenges and are able to deliver, then the next things look very easy. Look at first school was built in Gulbarga, farthest from here. After that, farther than that, we haven't built another school. Farthest place, Gulbarga, and at a time when there was no resources, nobody knew us, nobody even knew what was going on. But once we could, deliver a campus as far as Gulbarga, everything else, all these nearby Nalakadrinalli and Mandya and all sound like a child's play after that. Because he gave you the toughest challenge first. And when you could live up to that, the other challenges looked small. That's why we accelerated in our mission after that, because everything was smaller. That first hospital was in Raipur, the toughest one. Why? Because Raipur is not a place where we build super specialty tertiary care hospitals. There are no proper doctors. There are nothing. As I said, even to get a suture, you have to somebody has to fly it in from Nagpur or Hyderabad. One thing breaks down, that's it. You will not get another one, not in months. In that circumstances, where a culture of Raipur or Chhattisgarh is also very slow and easy going. Nobody works very hard over that. It's a typical tribal culture. Only the businessmen work hard because businessmen work hard anywhere, irrespective. But we as a charity trying to get people to work fast, work hard with the government and with all the people was not easy. So the toughest challenge was Raipur. But once we did the Raipur hospital, everything else sounded very easy. So I think it is the way. He gave us the toughest challenge soon after all that Sadhguru thing in COVID. And I think once we were able to deal with it correctly, after that we did not have an issue. We could deal with much bigger challenges as well. So that, I think, this sense of responsibility for everybody's welfare, like it is said, the Guru's job is that. And our Shastras say a chancellor of a Gurukulam should be able to provide for 10,000 people's food, education, and all the comforts. He should be able to look after these many thousands of people. Of course, if I only see very technically that how many students are there in the Gurukulam, then we may not have that many thousands. But if I think of a Sadguru and all of you are my students around the world, then it runs into millions of people who are dependent on this mission. So it does give you some kind of in the beginning, it does give you some sense of little fear and this thing, but then you believe that if God trusts you and trusts that you are capable of it, then it will happen someday. No, that is enough. And I wrote a very nice poem at some point in time, Ode to the Master, soon after this whole COVID experience. I don't know where it is, that poem. It means it's not been published or anything like that. But that was the essence of my learning from this shift, this transition, where I can no more hide behind my father and say, you take care of it, and I cannot face it. Like children make mistakes and then they hide behind their parents to deal with. Parents should deal with things. But there was no more father in front of me to deal with it. You have to deal with whatever comes your way. That is where all these Ashtavakras and Upanishads came handy. They gave us the courage and strength to deal with it. That was the biggest shift, I think, sense of responsibility for everybody's welfare. And initially the burden of doership did trouble me. But slowly as I understood the idea of Ashtavakra and doership and enjoyership is a burden and you must be able to overcome that and flow effortlessly. That came slowly and gradually. And once in a while I will lose it because the circumstances were new, unique, and challenges were much bigger than the previous one. So it shakes your peace a bit. But then you again come back to the normal very fast. That is why what I am teaching is not theory. What I am teaching is out of my own experience. And I know it is possible. It is not theory. It is possible that you will go through some of those shivers and shakes in the beginning, but staying focused and believing in the scriptural truths and trying to realign every time you go away from the path and course correct yourself, this will give you the necessary strength and courage to come back. And one day you will be able to handle it, even big challenges. So this is a training process. I think that is what I felt as the big shift.
Which has been the best moment of your life and the worst moment of your life?
I can't pick out one moment because it is very difficult. There's so many good moments have happened, and all of them have their own beauty and own lessons that came with it. You see, everything is unique. It's like which is the best sweet you have ever eaten, like that. I like different sweets for different reasons. Baklava tastes different from a gulab jamun, tastes different from a kaju katli. So each has its own beauty and its own taste. So I think there are a lot of good and bad moments, difficult and easy moments, happy and sad moments that everybody goes through because that is the part of the samsara. And I don't remember, but if I had to really tell one or two, I can't say this one and this one like that. But maybe the best moment that I have felt is, if I really immediately try to recall, I think when the first time Bhagavan started speaking to me as a student, I waited for 7 years. He never spoke to me. Once in a while, that is randomly or accidentally he would speak because I was involved in some work and he said, okay, keep this there or keep that there. That doesn't amount to conversation. You can't say that he called you and spoke to you for that. No, it was just, if you were not there, there was somebody else, he would have told the same thing to that person also, go pick this up or put it there. So that was a part of daily work, but that was not a personal conversation. But I think when we were doing a drama for the MBA day in 2002, that's when we went and pressurized the Vice Chancellor then that Bhagavan has not come to the university for the MBA days of the previous years, I think 2 years or something. So this time we want to get him to the college to be with the students and celebrate that MBA day, which was the founding day of the MBA program. But nobody knew how to do that, and the Vice Chancellor said, let us just do one panel discussion or something. I thought panel discussion would never attract him. It has to be something more interesting that he likes, like drama, dance, music. But nobody was believing. Then we went with a group to the Vice Chancellor's office and told, if you give us a chance, we would like to propose a play on values that one manager should follow and things like that, or whatever values of devotion, something that Bhagavan would like. Then he said, but you MBA day is just a week or so away, maybe 8 days or 10 days away. If you can show me something in 2 days, then I would think about it. And 2 days was a tough ask, right? In 2 days you want to show a play ready. You have to write a story, you have to get the characters, cast them, get the dialogues, music and scenes and sets. Then only you can you can showcase. But I don't know what came to me. I just said, okay, in 2 days we will show something. And overnight we wrote and all that things happened. 2 days later we made some, skeleton of a drama and presented in a small hall, the Vice Chancellor and a few teachers. And he got impressed. He said that it is good, but it is not there. But with 1 week, how can you put all these things in place? We said we will try. But it so happened that in the mandir, I don't know who said to him what, but Bhagavan came out and asked, what are you doing for the MBA day? And that is how everybody started saying, those who were there, that we are planning to do a drama. And Bhagavan was used to some 2-3 students whom he knew very well, so he started asking them, but they had no clue of what drama because they were not involved. So again and again they were turning back and looking at my face. I was sitting in the audience behind, not in the front. They kept on turning back and asked who is the hero, what is the story. So I'll keep shouting from behind. Then he told, come here to me. I was sitting 3-4 rows behind. He told, come here because all the answers you are giving, again and again, they're looking back and asking you, so you come here. Then I came forward. Then he asked me, what is your name, where have you come from, then I explained the entire drama. 45 minutes he heard. The entire story, scene by scene, dialogues, and story, entire thing. That was the first time he spoke to me for so long. I think that was one of the best moments because that was something that I had waited for many years. So I think when you are really hungry and you have waited for something and if it happens, the joy of it is a different level. Then again and again he has spoken, but then it doesn't give you the same thrill and joy as the first time. The first time is always special. That is one of the highlights I can think. I can imagine after that so much has happened. But that was one conversation was very interesting, very sweet, and I think that kind of gave me the confidence that I can also speak to him, because speaking to him is not easy. You just become stabdo bhavati, you lose your mind, you forget everything. Yesterday they were telling speechless like that. You too become a tongue-tied there in front of him. You don't know what to answer, what not to answer. But he made me feel so comfortable, and I think that built a relationship that lasted forever. So that was a high point in my life, I would think. I don't even think the high point is now, when I am a Sadguru or thing. That first conversation was the high point, I think. And the worst part of it, I do not know. Bhagavan has scolded me also. Even as a student, I have got a lot of blessings from him. Because what used to happen is that they figured it out, my classmates, that it is easy for him to converse with Bhagavan, and Bhagavan is comfortable talking to him. So whatever their agendas were for the class, for things, they would tell me to tell Bhagavan, and I, by mistake, I didn't think through. I didn't know the background of where they were coming from. So sometimes I opened my mouth and said things, and I got it very badly for doing that. One particular incident I remember, we were all finishing our studies, and we had to sort of leave, in the sense the program was getting over, and then they told you, he knows you well, so why don't you prepare a card and go and ask him for one interview for the whole class. So I was very confident that generally he knows me, so he won't mind. So I and one more boy whom he knew, who knew in the sense, at least at personal level, used to speak. So we made a nice card, and it was interesting because today is Deepavali or whatever, tomorrow is Deepavali, today and tomorrow both. So the card's theme was lead kindly light. So we made one forest path which is dark, but there is a light lamp through which you can walk and cross the forest. So we worked very hard, made the painting, went there. And that day I think he was not in good mood. Something was going on. The trustees were going in and out of the interview room. Some people were going in and out. So it looked like it was a busy day. It was a bad day to, float your, set the sails. It was a stormy sea. I didn't realize that. I was eager to get the interview because everybody was pressurizing me. Ask. We have no time left. Exams will start after that. We will not get to see him. So when he opened the interview door, I was sitting near the bhajan hall door, right across the interview door. And many times he was coming in, going out, then somebody were called, then they came out, then another said. So a lot of activity that afternoon. But like a fool, I got up and took the car when he came this side. And I think he just wanted some break from those hectic or whatever, the high pressure conversations. He just wanted to come out and relax a bit, just walk around and then go back. But like a fool, I got up from my thing. And he thought if I'm on my knees, then something important might be there. Because he used to give that much respect to my asking. And when I opened my mouth and said, Swami, we are all waiting for an interview, MBA boys. He got so upset, his face became red. He said, Dushtuda, Durmarguda, Niku, Dammadi pani lekpote naku ledu anukuntunnava. He said, you are such a crooked and vile person. You have no work, not a paisa of work to do. You think I don't have any work to do? Wasting my time. In front of everybody he shouted in the portico. I felt so embarrassed because this vice chancellor, registrars, and all the people sitting, so many VIPs are sitting in front of all of them getting scoldings like that. That to not ordinary words. So I got totally shaken up. I immediately withdrew and went back. And I think why I felt bad for that moment is because I did not think from his point of view. I only was selfish. I was only thinking from my point of view, what I wanted to get done. I didn't think that how busy he was or how was his mood or what was going on. Looking at the activity and that hectic interviews that are going on, I should have held my horses and kept quiet and probably come another day. But my mind was so consumed by the idea that everybody is asking me to ask him, and I just went ahead and asked, which was a bad thing. So whenever I could not understand him and respond correctly, those were bad moments of my life. My life is only tied to him. The day we made him happy, that were the happy moments for us. The day we made him sad or something that he did not like. That was a sad moment. But one more moment I want to share, which I felt very happy about. That was many months later, probably a year later. We were in Trai Brindavan, which is Bhagwan's residence in Whitefield. There, we had made a painting of Bhagwan in a painting was done as a backdrop, and there was the scene was that he's coming for darshan, and students are all on their knees waiting for him with folded hands. That's a typical darshan. That was Trai anniversary, I think 26th March or something like that, in 2003, 26th April 2003. So the painting was made, and we worked quite hard. And it was done a little in an abstract way, in a modern art way, not like a typical painting. But I had painted the Bhagwan part of it. The others had painted the students and other things. So that morning when he came, we were all waiting at the far away from Trai lawns where this was all set up. He came, he saw, and he immediately became very happy. And he called who did this and all. And I came forward. There's a nice video which is there, as somehow it is circulating recently. Then he asked, and then I told this is what it is. Then he gave me vibhuti and all that. Then he went for darshan, and he came back again, called me, caught my hand and went around to understand what was being presented, took pictures, cut a cake, and all that happened. Then I was so tired because we had not slept. And so I went and slept. Just then a message came that Bhagwan has called everybody for a lunch. Lunch means at 10 a.m., brunch that would be. So we again dressed up and ran back to Trai Hall. And there is a circular hall, a large hall with everybody seated. And he had ordered some favorite things. He had a tumbler idli and rasam vada were his typical favorites. He would always, and rasmalai. So this he had ordered from Bangalore and got all that ready. Within that 1 hour between 9 and 10, he had organized everything. And all these students who had helped working, they all went and sat in that hall. And then he came, and I also sat in my place because a circle with 50, 60 plates must be there. And his chair was there, and for him also they kept something. But I was sitting around. Of course, he's the warden, so he knows the scene, how it happens. Then when I was sitting in my place, I was third from him, I remember. He came and said, "Somberi, lazy." I didn't understand why he said Somberi. I was sitting like any other student, but he expected me to be on his side and serve the students rather than on the student side and eat with them. Luckily, mentally I understood that what he expects is not to sit and eat but to serve. So I immediately got up and went inside the kitchen and told, please give me something to serve because he expects me to serve. So they gave me water to serve. So carefully I was pouring water into all those tumblers of all the students, and then he was satisfied. Once I finished, I went and stood behind him, and my space was empty. Then he turned around and said, "Ippu poi kucho, go and sit now," because he expected me to serve like he would do. I felt so much owned by him, that feeling that I belong to him and he has the right on me to ask me to get up and serve and then sit and eat. And an hour or down the line, after the whole food was over, he went and sat in the jula. There used to be an outer circle and the inner circular hall. It had a peripheral hall also. There was a jula typically where he used to sit there and everybody would sit. It must be around noon. So he went and sat in the jula. And all the children, because for them it was a one great chance to be around him. You don't get to go inside his residence every other day. So they all rushed to sit there. And I also, like a fool, wanted to rush. But then I remembered that morning incident, that he doesn't expect me to behave like some other student just running around and trying to get him as much of him. So I kept quiet, I didn't go. When everybody had settled and he had settled, he was generally talking to them like, what do you study, what are you going to do next, and things like that. Then he looked at people, and then he was looking for me because I was not sitting there. But I could see that he's searching, his eyes were searching. Even when he was speaking, his mind was elsewhere, he was searching for me. Then I was behind in the circular hall, so I came a little forward and just stood near the door at the back. He looked at me, he smiled and said, means that is how you should be with me. You are not one of those people to just run and sit and try to catch hold of me and get as much as... You are one of me. You should be there behind at that distance, because as I said, I felt that now I am on his side, not on the student's side. I am not an outsider to him. I am from this side. I think that was another very high point, because in that little movement, gestures, he conveyed to me that you are not one of them to be served by me. You are the one who should be with me to serve them. And that shift from rights to responsibilities, from this side of the line to that side of the line was a beautiful experience. You know, when you feel that God owns you, He trusts you, and He thinks that you are on His side. It's a beautiful feeling you have to experience to know. So when several years down the line He shifted the responsibility again as Sadguru, whatever, I was very happy to just serve doing whatever He was saying. But then He said, now take responsibility and come this side. These incidents in my mind remain. They said He always was training me for that one day you should work like me or from my side and take the responsibility of things as I would do. So I think a lot of other good and bad things have happened. I've gone through a lot of ups and downs even after 2012. But I think they are nothing much. The worst point I could only think is when I made him upset. And the best part I would think is when he was happy. This is how my mind would think. Otherwise, if I look from the Atman point of view, then everything is same. But from mind point of view, as a Jiva point of view, whenever he was happy, that was the high point. And whenever I could not understand him or I could not respond correctly, which kind of upset him or which made him feel bad, I think those were the low points of my life. That is how I can think of my life. You can clap.
How does knowing who you were in your previous life, i.e. Madhyal Narayan Bhatt, impact your thinking, acting and decision making?
I think this passion for this missionary organization thing is borrowed from that lifetime, for sure. I did not have any idea of building a missionary organization. I never had an idea of building a university and training the youngsters in taking up service of the poor. These are not my ideas. I didn't come with those ideas here at all. But once I came to know that such an institution as this exists, and a person called Madhyal Narayan Bhatt, who was the founder, had such a lofty vision, and I read some of the books about him and the book that he has written, I was very, very touched and inspired. But I can clearly say this was not my original idea when I came here. My idea here was, I said, whatever Bhagavan says, just do and be done with it. That's all was my idea. But I did have a desire for a hospital in Chhattisgarh. That happened to me when 1996, as our bus was, for the first time I was entering Prashanti Nilayam. From Dharmavaram station we got a bus, and from there when I was traveling, and just as we crossed the big Prashanti Nilayam hospital, I asked the guardian who had travelled with me, the father of a friend, that what is this? Is the palace where Baba lives? He said, no, this is a hospital for the poor, it is totally free. That stunned me. And the first thought that crossed my mind was, can such a hospital happen in Raipur someday? Raipur, Chhattisgarh someday, so that poor people will benefit. Of course it happened. And in the museum that is coming up in the Capital block, this one scene is being depicted. The bus movement. When you saw out of the bus window a hospital and thought, how nice if I had one. That's borrowed from the idea of Gandhi Museum in Houston, where it is the train movement, when Gandhiji was thrown out of the train in South Africa, and he decided to fight for the justice and equal rights. So that movement, that is being captured. But Narayan Bhatt was totally new to me. I got very inspired, I got very excited when I heard about all that mission. And I think that passion to drive this as a university and to build the next generation, whether doctors and nurses or university students and graduates, that is definitely from there. That is his desire. It was not even Bhagwan's wish. By the time I'll tell you, one day Bhagwan clarified. In fact, the first day itself, when he was sending to Gulbarga, he told Narsimurti, what was Narayan Bhatt's wish? Then he said he wanted to open 10 schools across Karnataka. He said those days there were 10 districts. Today there are 30 districts. In every district we should open a school. That was his idea, that every district we should have. That's how, so that whole vision of this Lokaseva and the vision of the schools and universities, Narayan Bhatt's vision. It is neither Bhagwan Shri Sathya Sai Baba's vision in that way, and not even mine in this way. It was something that originated from him, and that is what is influencing the present mission.
What is the simplest, easy sadhana that we as students can do amidst our schedules?
I said, keep your mind connected to God in all situations. Whatever you are studying, working, playing, like I as a student, my mind was always about what Bhagavan would, how will he respond? Will he be happy with it? Will he bless me for this? Will this lead me to some proximity, some closeness to Bhagavan? See, that was a great motivation for student life. That is a great motivation. See, once you overcome these ideas of forms and names, it's a different matter. Even then, you have to satisfy the inner self, the divinity within. So, the biggest sadhana that anybody can do, especially students, is to ask that question whether this will take me closer to God or it will take me away from God. Whatever I do, suppose why in my course of doing things, suppose we are playing and I know that I am out, but I am tempted to lie, to stay on and play more and get more points for the team. But I decide that, oh, this is not going to be the right thing and this is going to take me away from God. This won't please God. I think that is a very good sadhana. Apart from prayers and rituals and whatever meditations you do. As I said, everybody should sit a few minutes with God every day, irrespective of whether you are a temple priest. You will say all the time, I'm in front of God. No, but you are not really in front of God, you are doing a duty. Those moments which are private between you and God, that close circle, that privacy, that solitude, and that moment where only you and God are, without rituals, without chanting, without mantras, without prayers, just the conversation. Those moments are very important. Everybody should develop a relationship with God, a personal, intimate, and very, very deep relationship with God. For that, every day you must converse with God. Whether He converses back, doesn't matter. You can always speak. That is a good sadhana for everybody. And for students, the best sadhana is throughout the day. Keep asking, if I do this, will this take me closer to God or take me away from God? Will God get upset with me if I do this, or will He become happy with me? If you keep asking these questions again and again, let me tell you, you want that every time you will perfectly live. You will still make mistakes, but your intensity and frequency of mistakes will start coming down. First time, 9 out of 10 you will fail, because habits are there. Next time it will become 8, third time it will become 7, 5, 6, 4. It will start reducing. That happens because you become conscious that I am doing it for God. Then you become a little more aware and responsible. So I think that is a very good sadhana for students to do.
One more question on prayer, Swami. There is a prayer asking God for the strength to change what we can and for the grace to accept what we can't. How can we consciously make the right prayer?
See, when your mind is not attached to the problem at hand, that is when you can discriminate between what you are supposed to change and what you are supposed to accept. If you are attached to the idea or the problem where you want an outcome in a certain way, then you cannot make this prayer. You cannot think correctly. And you will rather try to justify what you are thinking as this is the prayer that I am making. I am supposed to change this. That is what I felt. No, that is all your attachment which is pushing you to do that. And how do you know which is an attachment or it is pure surrender? Because in surrender there is no anxiety. There is no excitement. There is no feverish action. Vikata Jwaraha, Ashtavakra says that feverish feeling is not there. Your body's high temperature goes up. You are excited. You want to do. Those ideas don't come. It is very calm. Your mind knows. You know what is happening inside you, right? You can't lie to yourself. So if you are absolutely calm, then you will be inspired to know which one to do, which one not to do. And you can make the prayer right. But if you are attached to the outcome of it, then it is very difficult to make this prayer in all its honesty and sincerity. Somewhere you will be biased and say that while I am praying that let it be so, but deep under in my heart I feel it would be nice if it would turn out to be this way. But then your prayer is not pure. Then it is not going to happen. So you have to be very detached when you pray. Somebody asked me, what is the difference between a prayer and desire then? I say prayer is a thought left at the feet of God without the expectation of outcome. A desire is a thought pursued till it is fulfilled. And you bug God also till He gives you. But prayer is simply a humble submission left at the feet. Whatever happens after that, it is up to God. In a desire, we pursue and pursue and pursue and want it to happen. So that is not a prayer. A lot of the people who go to temple are not going with prayers. They are only going with desires. Because they are not happy if it doesn't happen the way they want. They'll shift to next temple, next God and keep trying this again and again. But the prayer does not need you to change your God or temple or anything. It just is a submission. If it happens, fine. If it doesn't happen, also you are not attached to the outcome. It's not like that every day go and check whether it will happen. It has happened. Those things don't exist in prayer. That's why I said a detached mind only can make a prayer. All other minds, attached minds, only desire. They demand. They don't make prayers.
Swami, what are your expectations from teachers in this educational mission?
One word, perfection. They should be perfect teachers. And what is a perfect teacher? At all level. We have 4 criteria for our teachers. They should have subject knowledge, because without subject knowledge you can't teach. So you can't say, I love the students, I love the institution, I'll give everything to it, but you don't know your subject. Subject means if you are a subject teacher. If you are a teacher who has to look after their personal welfare or look after their sports, then you should be good at whatever you are good at. One is your subject knowledge should be thorough. Second, I tell them is about love for the student. You should treat the students like your own, without getting attached. By the way, own means you get attached and you expect them to start obeying you and doing everything for you. That cannot go that far. You love them unconditionally because you are interested in their highest welfare. So you love them, and even if they sometimes misbehave, don't listen, you have the patience to deal with it, because love gives you that patience. So you should love your student. Third, you should also love the institution and this mission. It's not about you and student. You be my good student, I'll be your good teacher, and we have our own relation. No, it should be in the context of the institution and the mission. Why this relationship even is happening? To promote the cause of the mission. So in a way you should be loyal to the mission. People come here for an employment also. They are good teachers. They are teaching their subject well. They are dealing with students also correctly. But they have no loyalty to the mission. If they get another job, a government job especially, the other day some teacher was telling, half of our teachers are sitting and preparing all the time for government jobs. Why did they join here? Because they did not get a government job. But they needed a job nevertheless. So they joined. So they get a salary and they are able to survive. But soon after they keep writing jobs, applications and examinations for government recruitments. The moment they get that, they leave. So did they not have love for students? Yes, they had. Were they not good subject teachers? Yes, they were. Were they loyal to the mission? No. So that is also no good teacher for me. And the fourth should be a spiritual seeker. Now they have all the 3. They are good at their subject. They are dealing with students correctly. They are also loyal to the mission. They are here to promote the cause of this mission of service. But if they are not spiritual in nature, they are egoistic, they are attached, they are biased, and they here because they are excited about this mission but not excited about the spiritual progress, then that also is not going to work. So all these 4 put together is the perfect teacher for me. The other things add to it, your behavior, your conduct, grooming, discipline, all this is a part of all that. That I don't have to specially tell you. But these 4 things I judge our teachers on. 1, they should have their subject expertise. If they don't have, and they should be lifelong learners, keep improving how to teach them better, how to make this subject simpler, how to make the children more interested, engaged, how to explain the same concept in a nicer way. They have to go on thinking and go on improving themselves. And also subject knowledge, because subjects are becoming deeper and vaster in the sense that the changing technology and all that. So that, second, you should love your children. You cannot abandon them just because you don't like his face, he never obeyed you, he didn't. You can't judge. And yes, some people are there, 1% students might be there who are very notorious. Despite whatever we tell, they don't listen, they don't change. We give them 2, 3, 4 chances, then we remove them from the institution. Which we cannot do. That is a different thing. But generally I am saying, some teachers get attached to some students, they favor them, and they treat the others as seconds. It is not right. The impartiality in your dealing with students and love for students is a must. Third is, you should have loyalty to this mission. You should feel for this mission. You should feel like a missionary, not an employee. Employee works only by looking at the watch and the salary that he'll get. For a missionary, it's a lifelong thing. I keep telling the difference between Tom and Jerry. Tom is always trying to catch this Jerry, never able to catch it. Jerry escapes. Why? Because Jerry is running for Tom is running for a living, for food, whereas Jerry is running for life. So this mission is not for living. This mission should be your life. That is when they will do the right thing for the mission. And fourth, you should be a spiritual seeker. You should grow, evolve spiritually. No, I don't want to attend any prayers. I am doing my job, I am doing everything. No, then you cannot help. I do not want to change my ways. I do not want to give up my old habits. I do not want to participate in any of the satsangs or prayers and spiritual learning. I'm not interested in that. Then also you cannot be a perfect teacher. You got 3 right but 1 wrong. So all four you have to check. Then only you will be a perfect teacher. That is the expectation.
How can we overcome fear of darkness even though we know that nothing actually exists there?
Light a lamp. That's all you can do, and see whether nothing exists there. What else you can do? Fighting darkness is with the light only. That is how it is. Nothing else. Take light with you, you will see there is nothing any which way. So why worry?
Swami, many times you ask us to take refuge in the Guru or scriptural knowledge to get rid of attachments. Though we accept it theoretically, we are not sure how to practically implement this since we haven't yet had the highest experience.
This about chicken and egg story, give me experience, then I will be sincere and practice it. Or practice and then become sincere. Again, I remember an incident from Trai, when there was a session going on in Trai Vrindavan in Whitefield, and Bhagavan was talking. And he was talking about the same Advaita, Jnana and things like that. I was in the very first year of my undergraduate program or something like that. I thought, how can one even crave for a thing which one has never even experienced? How can you even ask for a thing? How can you even expect somebody to be interested in something which somebody is not even aware of fully? He's only heard about it. And I was thinking like that. Then Bhagavan said, as if he read my mind, in the discourse he said, see, if you want to learn how to swim, you have to first wet your feet. Without even wetting your feet, you want to learn swimming? Not possible. You have to take the courage to take the dive, go into the water and get familiar with the strokes, and then slowly you pick up swimming. But you say, no, I am scared of water. I don't know whether I can swim. If I sink, what happens? So teach me swimming first, then I will enter the water. Then you will never enter water, you will never learn. So this is the whole thing. Scriptural knowledge is like you are saying, teach me highest truth and then I will believe in the scriptures and practice. But that never happens. It's always like, first you have to enter the water. And gradually, slowly, step by step, as the manual says or as your coach says, you follow those instructions. And then you slowly get a hang of how to swim and then you will get used to it. Likewise, the scriptures are like the manuals or coach, which will tell you what to do, first, second, third steps. But to practice, you have to start. You say, okay, I'm ready to practice. Tell me what to practice. The scriptures say practice Indriya Nigraha, practice Mano Nigraha, practice Niswartha, practice Nirmamata. It will tell you. Then you start practicing, you will get a hang of it. And then you will be able to live a natural, spontaneous life like that without any difficulty. So this is something that you have to start practicing and read the scriptures and follow the instructions. And if you can't find another person who has gone through this process, another seeker, a spiritual seeker, satsangatve nissangatvam, as I say. Good company, seek good company, the right company. In your class also there will be people who are very interested in spirituality, and there will be who's very mild interest and some people who are very, very feeble interest. They'll be there in every class. It's not possible that they are not there. Stay with those who have strong interest in spirituality. Don't join the gang of those who have no interest or feeble interest. That is the other way you can strengthen your resolve to practice this. Otherwise, there is no way that you can get motivated. And I'll tell you from my own example, because after this, I still, in my mind, I argued in Trai Vrindavan when I was sitting. I said, no, you must give me an experience, at least howsoever little, a glimpse of it, one small taste. I'm not asking for the whole gulab jamun, just a piece of it to know what it tastes like. I've heard a lot about its taste, but I haven't eaten one. So like that I argued in my mind, and few days later I was in charge of the Hanuman Chalisa room there. So every night my job was to conduct Hanuman Chalisa and light the lamp and put the flowers and photos and all that. And after the Hanuman Chalisa is over, the boys who had come, they would leave and then I have to lock the door and go back. That evening so happened that after the Chalisa got over, the person who used to play harmonium for the Chalisa was sitting still. And as everybody left, and my job was to close everything and go to my room. Just then this boy who was playing the harmonium suddenly started singing Nirvana Shatkam, which you all sing every day, Mano Buddhi Chittani Hankarnaham. And when he was singing, I started I thought, okay, let him finish this, then I will close the door. So I sat there in another corner and just kept on contemplating on what he was singing. And as verse by verse, I am not this, I am not that, I kept on thinking, okay, I am not the body, I am not the eyes, I am not the nose, I am not the... Like that I kept on doing as a kind of an exercise in my mind. I don't have a mother, I don't have a father, no bandhu, no mitra, nothing. And now all saptadhatu, panchakoshas, all this is not me. So I really was trying to mentally follow that verses. At the end of it, when he says Vibhum Vyatpa Sarvatra, I thought, how do I think? Oh, I am in everything, everything is in me. The moment I thought like that, because of the 5 verses I had sincerely was following, the 6th verse just sent me into a transcendence. And I suddenly felt that I have really lost moorings of my body and where I was and what was going on. I could still hear feebly what he was singing, but my mind had gone away into another dimension. And I did see some colors in the beginning, like orange and pink and yellow and gold and all that. And after that, slowly the colors also faded away and a deep sense of peace prevailed. And I felt very blissful. There was a different kind of joy and bliss. And it lasted only for a few seconds till they finished. And after that, the boy finished, he closed. So in that noise, I came out of my reverie. And then I understood, yes, this is what it is, what Bhagavan was talking, that Atma Bhava. You asked me a question, okay, now you tasted it. Did you start sincerely working for it after that? Every day, every moment, every minute? No. Few days were motivated, motivation was there, trying to get back that state again, and it was not coming. After that, you forget it. Then you got back to your studies, your marks, your sports, your friends, your life goes on. Our mind, this is a lame excuse to say that just because I experienced it once, I will somehow every day crave for being that. No, you won't. You rather start this way. I will practice and gradually build my spiritual strength and reach a stage where it sustains, instead of that one jump and touch the sky and come down and never able to jump again. What is the point? So I have gone through this experience, the same question, same demand, and from my own experience I am saying, even though you have experienced that state, motivation doesn't last because other things, because you have not earned it with your effort. Therefore it doesn't last. If you earn it with your effort, it lasts. That is why rather practice and put efforts, and it will come to you gradually. And when it comes to you, it will stay. But this kind of once in a while, by divine grace or by a guru's touch or by some fluke, you just experience that state. It doesn't mean that you will remain motivated to be in that state. It is not necessary. But if you have really worked hard, step by step, as I said, followed the manual, followed the instructions of the coach, and then actually learned it well, then it will stay with you forever. That is why you should go step by step. Today, I was mentioning 15th day of 15th Somavara of Shiva Puja we have finished. Next one is one more 16th, and they'll do a 17th is like a conclusion, a closure ceremony. So that is also going to happen. And I'm very happy that everything is happening as we had thought about. Of course, as I said, in this world, challenges will come. Without challenges, this world does not exist. It's like a rose without a thorn you want. It's not possible. Thorn will also come when you go to pluck the rose. But you have to be careful in plucking the rose and leaving the thorn behind, right? That carefulness is what life is all about. Spirituality teaches you that carefulness. To pluck the rose and not get hurt by the thorn. Do the right thing in the world and not end up in the wrong things. That carefulness, that ability to be cautious and careful, that comes from our spiritual practices. Otherwise, we'll keep hurting ourselves and thorns will keep pricking us and we'll keep crying over it. And then we'll wish that there were never any thorns in the bush. That's not going to happen. We have to be careful in plucking the rose and not get hurt by the thorn. But this ability to be careful and focused and concentrated, and it comes only from spiritual lessons in life. That is why this Paravidya, that is why all these lectures on the Ashtavakra, that is why all these satsangs that we do, because it teaches you how to live in the world by taking the rose and not getting hurt by the thorns. And Bhagavan used to say, love is the rose, lust is the thorn, he used to say. The rose part is pure unconditional love. The thorn part is conditional desires. So how to live in the world? unconditionally loving everyone, serving everybody, not expecting nothing in return, then no thorn will ever prick you. You will enjoy the rose, its fragrance, beauty, color. But the moment you develop a desire, it's like getting pricked by the thorn which exists next to the rose. That is also very, very important. So when you want to enjoy a rose, you have to be carefully enjoying it. Otherwise, thorn will also prick you. Now, of course, they have these modified hybrid varieties, but there is no scent in that. Have you ever seen all these flowers who are behind me? No fragrance in all these. These are all decoration only. That's why no bee, no butterfly, nothing comes to these flowers. Because they are not real. They are all modified to avoid thorns, to make them richer in color, to make them bigger in size, to make them symmetric in even. So therefore, there is nobody comes over here. So no butterfly would come. This kind of artificiality is not life. The real life comes with both pluses and minuses. And how to deal with both, that is what spiritual abilities are. That's why I said, I am a Sadguru, I'll teach you how to deal with your life. I am not going to make the thorns disappear. Or I am not going to make the rose bigger than what it's supposed to be. It would be what it would be. But I will teach you how to still enjoy that rose and not get pricked by the thorns. That ability, if you develop, that is fine. That is why our Guru Gita says that the Guru helps you how? He tells that he helps you by giving you the wisdom to deal with things. Because we have collected so many karmas, so many issues of the past, and we don't know how to deal with those. We have habits we cannot deal with. So he gives you Atmagyana Pradhanena Tatsmai Shri Guruve Namah, by giving you Atmagyana. And Koti Karma Vidahine, he destroys all your past karmas, not by wishing it away, not by miracle of thorns disappearing, no. He teaches you how to deal with it. Atmagyana he gives you, wisdom he gives you to deal with your karmas. So even if the karmas are there, it doesn't matter to you anymore. That's all the Guru is capable of doing. That you should get it very right. Miracles happens, fine. Good things, suddenly unexpected results come, fine. Attribute it to God's grace, and as I said, live up to that. But Guru will only teach you how to deal with things and not wish that things were not this way. That's not going to happen. He'll just teach you how to deal with your life. That's all is you are going to learn in our spiritual classes. So that's all for today. Evening I will come. Today is also a Chaturdashi come Amavasya, 14th date, calendar date, but it lasts till 3:30, 3:40, and after that Amavasya starts. So some people are celebrating Deepavali today, but in our Karnataka side, we believe that whichever tithi the sun rises, that is the tithi we should celebrate. So sunrise happens in Amavasya tomorrow morning. So therefore our Diwali happens tomorrow. But it doesn't matter, whenever we celebrate, that is Diwali. And today is Chaturdashi, and Narakasura was somebody who was killed by Satyabhama, the wife of Krishna, because he had captured all those women whom he had won out of the wars by killing their husbands. So he had 16,000 of them locked up in his jails. That's when they prayed, and Krishna destroyed Narakasura, which is nothing but desire. Naraka means hell. He created hell for everybody out of his desires. And then Satyabhama, he had a boon that nobody could kill him other than his own mother, which was Bhudevi. So Bhudevi took the birth of Satyabhama, it seems, and married Krishna. And then Krishna took Satyabhama, because several times he tried to fight Narakasura, but he always would overpower Krishna. Then he took Satyabhama, and Satyabhama stood in front and she shot the arrow and Narakasura died. Again, it is a story, but it again is about redemption. 16,000 women had to be redeemed. And who could redeem them? Another woman, not a man. So help yourselves and God will help you. Women for women, not women against women. Right? So you help yourself, you rise to those spiritual heights and help so many other women who are stuck in those narkas, hells of society. Terrible lives they lead. They don't have empowerment, they don't have a voice, they don't have a name, face. They just live like slaves. You can redeem all of them, thousands and thousands of them, through education, through opportunities. But who will do it? I, like Krishna, will stand behind, but you, like Satyabhama, will have to go and fight the war. Our students should rise to the occasion. That is how I think of Narakasura. And this episode from the story, our Puranas, and then tomorrow is, as I said, tonight the tithi changes. So tomorrow is one, we are celebrating Deepavali. Today also is October 20th. We know that as the day when Bhagwan, he came back from school in Urvakonda, when he was living with his brother and sister-in-law. And suddenly he threw all the books on the floor and said, I am no more your Satya. I am Sai. And walked away into the garden of an excise inspector was there, Anjaneyulu. He was a devotee. So he walked into his garden, sat there in 1940 on the same day, and gave the first discourse, first bhajan, which was Manasa Bhajare, Guru Charanam, Dustara Bhavasagara Taranam. Worship the feet of the Guru of mind, because that alone will help you cross over the ocean of samsara. That is why Guru is important in our lives. But how does he help you to cross over samsara? He will teach you how to. He will teach you. And that teaching is what is boat, that boat in which you can cross the samsara. The Guru's teachings have to be practiced. So today is the day when he declared himself as Guru. See, he did not declare himself as an avatar till 1963. He declared himself only as a Guru on this day, saying that I am Sai, I am the Shirdi Baba incarnate, and my job is to teach you. And what will I teach you? How to cross over the ocean of samsara. And through that teachings, he started preaching and doing things for his devotees, and that's how it has come this far. So this day is a historic day from that point of view. And I said, somebody told me, your name is too big, Sadguru Shri Madhusudan Sai, like that. So I told them that Bhagwan's name also is like Bhagwan Shri Sathya Sai Baba, it is longer than mine. Then they said, no, it should be shorter. So then I thought about, he used to write S, 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 right? Everywhere we'll see. I used to call Shri Sathya Sai. But I thought maybe the first S is Shirdi Sai, SS. Second S is Sathya Sai, SS. Maybe the third S is just Sadguru Sai. So that also fits in the SS category. And I am also a teacher. In fact, the teaching part is more dominant part of my aspects than the other things. Other things also happen, but they are the lesser prominent part. The real prominent and the dominant part of this is teachings. So again and again I keep telling you, my teachings, only if they fall in the ears of the deserving, will they find their way to their hearts and germinate, sprout, grow and transform them. If it falls on deaf ears, the thing can be done. This is not my fault. So if you don't improve despite being here, your spirituality is the same as you came, you never became more spiritual or detached, not my problem. It is your problem. If the rain falls in desert, what can it do? Nothing will grow there. So you have to make sure that your hearts are fertile, so that these seeds of wisdom take root and grow into a tree of bliss and give fruits of joy to everybody. That is your problem. You have to work hard. My part I will work. Your part you have to do. And then only these things will happen. So Manasa Bhajare Guru Charanam means not just catching the feet of the Guru and massaging it and praying, washing it. No. Bhajare means think about the feet. Feet means his teachings. Means wherever he is going, you follow. That is the idea of feet. Wherever Guru is walking, you walk on the same path. It means whatever Guru is teaching, you follow his teaching. That is Bhajare Guru Charanam. That is how you cross over the ocean of samsara. Maybe you can sing that bhajan and we can close with that.
मानस भजरे गुरु चरणम मानस भजरे गुरु चरणम मानस भजरे गुरु चरणम मानस भजरे गुरु चरणम दुस्तर भव सागर तरणम दुस्तर भव सागर तरणम दुस्तर भव सागर तरणम शिवाय, ॐ नमः शिवाय, ॐ नमः शिवाय, शिवाय नमः। अरुणाचल शिव, अरुणाचल शिव, अरुणाचल शिव, अरुण शिवो। अरुणाचल शिव, अरुणाचल शिव, अरुणाचल शिव, अरुण शिवो। ओंकारं भव, ओंकारं भव, ओंकारं भव, ॐ नमो बाबा। ओंकारं भव, ओंकारं भव, ओंकारं भव, ॐ नमो बाबा। ओंकारं भव, ओंकारं भव, ओंकारं भव, ॐ नमो बाबा। मानस भज रे गुरुचरणं, मानस भज रे गुरुचरणं, दुस्तर भव सागर तरणं, गुरु महाराज गुरु जय जय, गुरु महाराज गुरु जय जय, साईनाथ सद्गुरु जय जय, साईनाथ सद्गुरु जय जय। ओम नमः शिवाय, ओम नमः शिवाय, ओम नमः शिवाय, शिवाय नमः। ओम नमः शिवाय, ओम नमः शिवाय, ओम नमः शिवाय, शिवाय नमः। अरुणाचल शिव, अरुणाचल शिव, अरुणाचल शिव, अरुण शिवो। अरुणाचल शिव, अरुणाचल शिव, अरुणाचल शिव, अरुण शिवो। ओंकारं भव, ओंकारं भव, ओंकारं भव, ॐ नमो बाबा। ओंकारं भव, ओंकारं भव, ओंकारं भव, ॐ नमो बाबा। ओंकारं भव, ओंकारं भव, ओंकारं भव, ॐ नमो बाबा। ओंकारं भव, ओंकारं भव, ओंकारं भव, ॐ नमो बाबा। मानस भज रे गुरुचरणं, दुस्तर भव सागर तरणम्। सर्वसुगुणसिन्धवे सकलसुजनबन्धवे, सर्वसुगुणसिन्धवे सकलसुजनबन्धवे, गुरवे मधुसूदनाय महितमङ्गलम्, सद्गुरवे मधुसूदनाय महितमङ्गलम्। दीनदुःखितपोषकाय दानधर्मप्रेरकाय, दीनदुःखितपोषकाय दानधर्मप्रेरकाय, सर्वलोकहितरकाय सर्वमङ्गलम्, सद्गुरवे मधुसूदनाय महितमङ्गलम्। वेदनादवर्धकाय विश्वशान्तिस्थापकाय, वेदनादवर्धकाय विश्वशान्तिस्थापकाय, ब्रह्मज्ञानबोधकाय दिव्यमङ्गलम्, सद्गुरवे मधुसूदनाय महितमङ्गलम्। सत्यसायिन प्रियाय सत्यप्रेम विग्रहाय, सत्यसायिन प्रियाय सत्यप्रेम विग्रहाय, नित्यशुद्ध निर्मलाय नित्यमङ्गलम्, सद्गुरवे मधुसूदनाय दिव्यमङ्गलम्, सद्गुरवे मधुसूदनाय महितमङ्गलम्। ओम जय जगदीश हरे, स्वामी सत्य साई हरे, भक्त जना संरक्षक, भक्त जना संरक्षक, पति महेश्वर। ओम जय जगदीश हरे। शशिवदना श्रीकरा सर्वा प्राणपते स्वामी सर्वा प्राणपते आश्रित कल्पलतिका आश्रित कल्पलतिका आपद्बान्धवा ॐ जय जगदीश हरे माता गुरुदैवं पर्यन्तयु नीवे स्वामी पर्यन्तयु नीवे नाद ब्रह्म जगन्नाथा नाद ब्रह्म जगन्नाथा नागेन्द्राशरण ॐ जय जगदीश हरे ओंकाररूप ओजस्वियो साई महादेवा सद्गुरु साई महादेवा मंगलारति अंदुको मंगलारति अंदुको मंगल गिरिधारी ओम जय जगदीश हरे नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण 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 ओम नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण 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 ओम नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण 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 ओम नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा ओम शांति 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 समस्त लोका सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्त लोका सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्त लोका सुखिनो भवन्तु ओम शांति 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 जय बोलो भगवान श्री सत्य साई बाबा जी की जय बोलो सद्गुरु श्री मधुसूदन साई जी की जय